Hello and welcome to another episode of the Conscious Collective. And I'm Lucy. I'm here today with obviously our lovely Emily.
Hello.
Welcome. And we're back to talk about something that is commonly talked about, and it's linked to manifestation. But we want to make it super clear from the off that this episode is about frequency first, and the importance of our frequency and the frequency we are holding, the frequency we are in when manifesting whatever we want to create in our lives. And the importance of our frequency in creation, I think, is what I want to say, but we're going to be talking about it in lots of other ways too. So Emily, over to you.
Yeah, of what we're emitting. It's an interesting one because when you channeled the Council of Light the other day, it was very much about what we're seeing in front of us is what we've manifested, and how we then integrate that manifestation into our daily lives. And so with being in frequency first, is that the real secret to manifesting our dreams? Because often people will use affirmations. I certainly feel very strongly about an easy way to get your frequency right is to work with your energy and to work with your fight-flight meridian, and to educate that from a direct pathway into a radiant circle circuit that can travel joy around the body. But when we're vibing and we're feeling good, you have those days where everything just works out for you, and you just have green light after green light after green light when you're driving. So what is it about the frequency that we are emitting that changes the world that we walk into around us?
Well, I have the council here who want to come through, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
And answer that, because they're showing me, if we can imagine ourselves, they're talking through me. I'm not trance channeling them, but they're talking through me right now. They're like, we want to answer that. And they're saying that, we are just little antennae. We are made of frequency, and our thoughts create our emotions that create our frequency. Okay, so we've got to understand that our frequency is made up of the thought part, which is our affirmations and things that we talk about. So reprogramming your thoughts is a key thing. So it's not that that's not valid. That is very important. It's almost step one. But then if you don't believe, and if you're not in emotional alignment and connection with the thought, you're not really truly in resonance. If you're just saying words in your head, but you're holding fear within your body, don't really believe it, it's not your knowing, you don't believe there's truth there, then it's not your frequency. Does that make sense? So they're saying you have to align your frequency. And they're saying, how do you know when you're in frequency? It's how you feel. If you say an affirmation, do you really believe it? Do you feel it? Because what they're saying is, if you say, let's talk about abundance. If you're saying words of affirmations of abundance, but really you're holding on to fear from maybe your childhood, or just fear from wherever, and that needs to be felt, and that needs to be understood and integrated so you can dissolve those frequencies. That's where energy work comes in, and why that's exploded all over the planet. So that's the way to integrate that and change your frequency. Once you've then changed your frequency, it's about becoming then a resonant match for the field to be able to bring you what it is that you desire. It's almost like, think of things either being able to connect or it can't connect. So if you're holding on to stuff that isn't in alignment with what you want, then it can't connect with it. Cannot, the universe, the field can't bring you what you want. So it's absolutely crucial that you become a resonant match by going in and revealing what it is that's holding you back from truly believing that whatever it is that you want to experience or manifest in your life, that you can't, whatever it is that's blocking you from believing that you can't experience that. And that's where being honest with yourself comes in. You have to really be honest.
It's internal work.
It's the work. So, there is no way, and they want to say this about the wider audience, there is no way that you will be able to force what you want to experience in your life without doing that work. You can force it, but it will never feel how you want it to make you feel. So it won't be the full experience that you want to experience. That's an interesting perspective. Never heard that before. So you might attract money, but it's not going to feel, you're not going to ultimately get the reasons why you wanted the money in the first place, because you wanted the money to make you feel safe, secure, free, and happy, right? So people, and what they're saying is, you won't feel those feelings. You might be able to force money to you, but it's not that abundance feeling that you were desiring in the first place. God, that's interesting. I've never heard it said that way before. Thank you. So the importance is always, whatever you're manifesting, what is the feeling that you want to feel? So if you want money, why is it that you're wanting money? Okay, it's because I want to feel safe. I want to feel secure. Okay, well, you need to create that safety within you and know that you are already safe, which brings back to what Emily was saying about resetting your nervous system. And I'm sure people have heard this as well in the collective, by resetting your nervous system and knowing that you're safe always, then you will be safe to receive the money. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. And I think maybe it's a great opportunity for people to look at the affirmations that they're using and why they want that affirmation to come true in their lives. And for example, if it is safety, saying, I am safe, and that's why it's easy for me to receive. I am safe, and that's why it's easy for me to receive.
More safety. If you're saying that money makes you feel safe, which I can understand. And firstly, let's just validate that.
Very root chakra. I mean, it's a necessity of life. That's currently the most common exchange throughout the planet of energy is monetary. And that's why it's so important for people to have that. And it's interesting to reflect on how it's kind of a thought affirmation compared to a body-based way of manifesting, isn't it?
But what I'm hearing from the council right now is that just also another layer onto this to help us is to take a step back and know that is only a construct, and that it is not the way things will always be on the planet, but it is just the way things are right now. And it takes the pressure off a little bit. They're saying that it won't be as you won't feel the desperation as much in your body when you say it's just a construct. It's just something that is what we're working with on the planet right now. It's just the way things work right now. I'm always safe anyway. I'm always safe here on Earth. That lovely, beautiful, strong connection to Mama Gaia really helps with that. And I would recommend building a really strong grounding with Mama Gaia, with the earth, because the earth can really give you that sense of safety that we believe that money gives us. Actually, if you build a strong enough bond with the earth frequency, you can guarantee and lean into that safety that the earth is always looking after you. So you could have that as your mantra. The earth is always looking after me. Money is needed. Money is something that I'm happy to work with and make it a joyous exchange, and change the frequency of money in your body. Money feels good to me. And there's so much out there about manifesting money. I won't go too deep into it, but change how that feels, like make it lighter. And you can do that, but by saying that ultimately your safety is rooted into the earth, into your frequency with Gaia, who is our mother while we're here on earth. So it's about stripping things back, changing your perspective in order that you can change your frequency. Does that make sense? So that then you're not seeing money, you're not viewing your beliefs around money, which obviously are really important when manifesting. Your core beliefs aren't desperation, aren't the need and the desperation for money. Once you change that, you change your frequency. And then it becomes easy and it becomes more playful and it flows. So,
Beautiful.
yeah, I hope that helps.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you're kind of touching on our nervous system throughout that whole aspect, because when we are, for me, it's megaliths, when people are in nature, I mean, it's also the woods and the forest as well, that relaxes my nervous system and that puts me in another frequency. So it's easier for me to connect with the everything of life. And that would probably be a really healthy place for me to work on manifesting. But it does, and we've touched on this in our conversations about beliefs and knowing.
Yeah.
And belief now, every time I say the word, I just see like a leaf falling from a tree. A belief. Yes, we have our beliefs, but they can change with the wind and who we're around and their frequency. But when you know something, and you are a pillar and you are stone in that, and no one can change your knowing. I know what I love. I know what I adore. Yeah. I know more and more of what makes me me. And in that way, it makes me indestructible because
it's solid.
Those are
it's
other
steadfast.
people's opinions and they just don't necessarily hold weight with me.
No. So when you are talking about manifestation and frequency, if you use that strength, that knowing rather than believing, because we talk about changing our belief system, and this is what we're switching up. It's like, no, change your knowing, your absolute, there's no debating it. It's not I believe, it's I know that I am safe. I know whatever it is that comes up for you when you dig into whatever's blocking you from living out your desires or manifesting your experience in the way that you want, whatever's comes up for you, and you have to do that work. What is it? It's working on whatever that block is and changing it to the absolute knowing that you can experience that, whatever it is that you want to experience. No, I know that I am a match for that because I know that I can have that. I know I can experience that, and I know it's happening. It's done. And I'm just waiting for the field to respond to my absolute stake in the ground. And I just want to touch on here, in my own personal life, in my own personal experience, there is such a difference between wishy-washiness and not knowing and not sure, and absolute no, I've had enough of this and this is the way it's going to be for me. And I've told many a client and many a friend that if you're in a loop of something that you don't like and you experience a repetition of something that is just, you're like, why is this happening to me?
Again.
Forget the why is it happening victim mode. Take control and understand the power you hold to dictate what the field around you gives you. And this is what our galactic beloveds have shown me. They're like, that's why they find it so humorous sometimes. They're like, oh, how do you not realize still how in control you are? And that by saying no more of that, I would like this because it's my knowing that I can have that. You watch how quickly that will switch round like that.
And
yes,
how does that then all fit in with the conversation that we had in the car before we came in the studio today on feeling the feels?
Yeah.
Because when you're in that loop of why does this keep happening again and again and again? I'm working on my energy. I'm working on my frequency. I'm working on my meditation. I'm working on my breath. I'm working on the conscious awareness of my thoughts. I'm doing the work. Why is this still presenting as it's presenting?
Do you know what I'm going to say here?
It changes.
I'm going to say clarity. You might be doing all of those things, but you're not giving the field enough clarity. So this is literally
what else is it
being firmer and your frequency.
May I tease you?
Frequency.
We've come into these bodies, haven't we? So it's our humanness of actually have we come to experience this for us? this frustration of going, oh yes, I didn't want to manifest as quickly as I thought I should, could, would have loved to. I've actually come to experience this
whatever it is you're
frustration within my body, because we were actually touching on. And I mean, I really hope you haven't felt it, because it's not a pleasant situation where this body cannot contain all the energy and frequency going through it. Is an extremely uncomfortable way of experiencing it. But clearly, I think that we must have come here to experience this to help other people move through this. And so in that, I guess, could you kindly bring through the Council of Light to speak on this? Because they were talking about, we've got this perception that, yes, we can go to the void. Yes, we can go to where the connectedness of everything. Oh, our higher selves want this experience and our soul wants this experience. What about the human? What about this aspect of Emily, this aspect of my soul that has come to have this combobulation of complexity all at once, that then takes me to the extreme of the void where it's just blissful and peace. So how do we see this from a human point of view, so that we know our true truth, so that we know our true knowing of what we truly need, as in safety, to then come from that point to manifest and to create that frequency that then...
I think we've answered it as well, though, which is, experiencing. So whatever is coming up for you, we are meant to experience. So you've already answered the question. You're meant to experience that. So we can fight against it, but that's really, what we were saying about doing the work. That's showing you what work you need to do, is what they're saying. That's showing you where the work is needed to be done. That's all that feeling is what they're saying. They're saying that we need to see that the emotions are just showing us what we need to work on and what we need to process and integrate in order to move through. And it's because it feels so bad sometimes in our bodies, we avoid feeling the feelings. And we've spoken about feeling the feelings in another episode, I think, but we avoid it and then we bypass.
And we don't want to bypass
and we bypass it. But that's blocking us from then experiencing what we want to experience next.
Yeah, so I think that's the important thing. Ensure that you're not bypassing. Yeah. And one of the most useful things that my guides came to show me was how, when I'm feeling those feelings, then feel it, but connect with the earth and put my feet on the ground and let her experience that. Because for me, I saw that as I'm giving her bad information, and she's like, there's no bad information. The more you give me that frequency, that I understand how hard it is in your body, I'm going to change the environment around you and the frequency, so that when you're walking forward, I know how to harmonize you better.
And you're never alone with this
again,
information.
It's co-creation.
But I think this is why we need talks like this, and we need to discuss it and allow other people to know that when they're coming up, when they're experiencing feelings, they're not unsafe. And it doesn't feel that way. It feels awful. It feels like you want to climb out of your body sometimes. You don't want to feel that feeling. But my guide said to me very recently, you came to feel that and to integrate it as part of your work for the ascension. So, kind of get used to it a bit. They were saying, like, you can't avoid that part of your experience, because I was trying to sort of sorry, my tummy's going. I was trying to go to a level of consciousness with them. And this is quite often, when we bring the Council of Light, we want them to bring in a perspective that's going to take us away, and another perspective, so that we don't feel and that we don't experience, so that we don't have to go through certain things. And they were like, no, I want to bring you down back into being a human. We could explain things on such an energetic, high soul level, lessons, because I was like, certain lessons and stuff like that. They were like, no, we're going to bring it so that you see it through your human lens, not through our perspective, not through Source's perspective, through your perspective, because you have come to experience things through your perspective, through a human experience lens. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm so used to being able to escape and see things from a higher level of consciousness. And they were like, no, you came here to feel how you're feeling. Because I was like, I don't want to feel like this. What do I do to be able to kind of, you just don't want to feel it. You want to move on through. And they were like, no, you came here for this. And we've all come here to feel this, the density, because we've come
Friction.
to dissolve it, to integrate it. And we've come to do that with not just things we're experiencing in our current lives, with things from past lives, and we've brought lineage trauma. We've come to integrate and dissolve
So much of this is what's happened from previous lives, not this lifetime.
No. And so
resolving.
Yeah, it's tough, but the more you do the work, bit by bit, little by little, and not be so thrown every time something comes up, because I think that's what happens. We're high vibrational, aren't we, light workers, and we're like, everything's wonderful, and then something will come up, and it feels even more dense, I think, to light workers, because the more you do the work, the more your frequency is higher, and you're more in tune. So we feel things very fully, but we're meant to. So that's the message around that, is we're meant to feel it.
That's what I wanted you to share. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Meant to feel it. Oh.
And another way of looking at it is it's just a different way of harmonizing you. So I think there's certain things that have happened to me, and I was reflecting on this when I was completing the Energy to Heal module in my advanced energy medicine yoga course. And I was really contemplating heal. Can we heal? Can we heal fully? What does healing look like to me? And there's physical aspects of my body I have certainly healed, but mentally, emotionally, will I ever heal from the passing and the transition of my mother's death? And I don't know that I will, but I'm also really okay with that, because for me, I'm starting to see that as a base note. And I've got, as Lucy was saying, we've got all these higher frequencies that we're moving into, and that's why these bass notes can feel quite dissonant. But actually, I want to use those to harmonize the rest of me, because it's like listening to music without the bass or guitar. It's just not going to sound as good. So I know that through all of this, I'm moving actually to a more beautiful frequency and a better understanding. And so I guess if it helps at all, just see it as it's just another layer of you that makes you more beautiful and more complex in moving through to your ascension. And these things, it's safe to be with these things and to have them.
Yeah. And that at the end of the day, it takes time to move through healing. It takes our lifetime sometimes with some things. And we're healing layer by layer, bit by bit. So when things come up again, and we think, oh, we thought we'd healed through that. We thought we'd felt everything there was to feel around that, and more comes up. It's just another layer. It's okay. It's not that you're not moving through it and raising your frequency. You're experiencing something. And I think this is what we said. You're meant to experience the highs and the lows. And that's what my guide said to me yesterday. They were like, you came to feel the way that feels in your body. And they gave me they were referring to my dog who I was walking at the time. They were like, she's experiencing things on the way she experiences things. A cat will experience the way a tree will experience what it's experiencing. You came to experience the full spectrum or symphony of emotions and feelings and ranges. And yes, there are some dense ones. And yes, you are meant to move those through your body, so that we, as part of this ascension, we are looking to experience the higher notes a little bit more. But you came for this. This is all part of your mission, all part of what your soul knew before you came. So yeah, and they also referred me to how I was feeling earlier. And they said, do you feel that way now? And I was like, no, it's completely gone. And they were like, it never stays. It's these emotions, these feelings, and these, that you're experiencing, they move on. And you must always believe that. If you've got fear that you're going to get stuck in it, that's going to trap you, that fear. But if you know that they're waves and they come and they move on, and there'll be a peak, and you have to sort of get over that peak, and then you'll level off again, then that's how to move and flow through your emotions. I remember that coming through years ago as a channeled message, you know, that if we see our emotions as just these waves of emotions, and they do reach their peak before they sort of crash down again, but just know that they always will, you know,
And it will make things more beautiful, in my opinion.
yeah, it's part of the experience.
Yeah.
So back to topic, which was frequency. Yeah, I guess that's the way to keep in frequency, isn't it? Is to just, you know, ride the waves as they come, but understand and go
And be truthful with yourself, isn't it? Being really truthful.
and share it with other people. That's something that came up for me and Emily. You know, we talk about it all the time. When things come up, we share it. And I know that is a
it's
natural
really,
thing for
really
us humans to do. But I think when we do energy work,
community.
sometimes we can step away from that.
Yeah.
And we think we can do it all on our own. And I don't believe that. I think
No, we're
speaking
not.
to people about it is really important.
Yeah, it's such an interesting paradox, and we talked about it in a different episode of how we're meant to do this with community, but really it's also work that's done within ourselves and integrating that. But yes. Oh, it's been lovely talking to you about this today,
And you,
Lucy.
Emily, thank you.
And maybe we'll bring through the Council of Light another time just to ask them a
Yes.
few more questions.
Yes. All right, lovely. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Joyful blessings, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us today. Please remember to like and subscribe. If you want to work with us directly, see the show notes below. Thank you.